Here's a variety of masks that can protect you from particles and also retain moisture. So retaining moisture is important because your mucous membrane protects your sinuses and your lungs and the pipes that lead to them from foreign invaders. And if you imagine that a virus is the size of a tennis ball, the thickness of your mucous membrane might be the depth of a swimming pool. If that swimming pool gets dried out, that means the germs can reach it. It also means bacteria, which are larger than viruses, can reach it. But if a particle comes in, it's usually coated with viruses and bacteria that are all around, and it can plunge into that pool and bring those bacteria to your body, to the cells that will get infected. So protecting yourself from particles is important. And retaining the moisture in your mucous membrane is important. So many of these masks, or most of these masks, just by covering your face, retain the moisture from your last breath and allow you to breathe it back. That's especially important in very cold weather, because the colder it is, the drier it is. But there's also times when it's windy and dry for other reasons. So allergies, of course, are an obvious area of problems that people have. Asthma, things like that. So the mask is very valuable because it doesn't have side effects, except for that you maybe look like a fool, or you feel like you look like a fool for wearing it, and maybe it scratches your face a little bit. And certain small sizes may push your lips into your teeth, which can be uncomfortable. But on many of the masks, if you pull hard on the strand, you can stretch the strand to make it a looser fit. Here's a mask with an exhalation valve. That makes it a lot easier for people to hear you. It makes the mask cooler. It keeps the mask from fogging up your glasses, but it doesn't retain moisture. And at this time, the only ones that we have available in our kit is our sampler kit. They're a bit large, depending on the size of your face. There are very much smaller ones, like this medical type that's in a small size, which is basically the same. And that may be good for certain small faces. They're a little harder to obtain. These two are the same except for the strap. The Plus version has a cloth strap, which is a little fancier. The normal version, that's probably easier to locate, has a plastic strap. One advantage of the plastic strap is that it's easier to distend it. You pull it hard and it becomes stretched, and then it fits your face better. Although these sort of Lycra types are more elastic, so they're nice too. I don't really have a preference. And there's a third type, which is this ear hook type, which is especially useful for women who don't want to muss up their hair, because otherwise the strap behind your hair may look a little foolish as it pushes your hair in some weird way, or spoil your hairdo. But the filtration quality of this mask is not as good as these. These are largely N95 type masks, which is 95% of the particles of some certain standard, which is pretty good. And it's pretty much a medical standard, but it's also a standard for construction and industry. So the idea is, if you could carry this stuff around in your backpack or your purse and always have a mask in a Ziploc bag or a number of masks at the ready as a consumable, that you would use them more often, and you could avoid allergy incidents, drying out incidents that may lead to infections or other problems, which you may be familiar with if you already suffer from them. So having some in your dash of your car could be very valuable, because as you travel, you pass through many ecosystems that have all kinds of different pollens that you may not normally encounter. So you're a huge pollen sampling device as you travel. So at least in your car, you probably don't know most of the people you're driving around, so you won't feel as much like a fool. But I wear it all the time, especially in places like Home Depot, where there's a lot of dirt in the air from the cement and the wood dust, both of which are co-carcinogens when breathed with smoke. So masks are a pretty useful thing, but they're not societally acceptable, perhaps, unless you're willing to protect yourself and not have side effects necessarily from taking pills, that sort of thing. So we could sell you a package of a variety that you could sample and have them ready. And then over time you may find that you'll be able to order them directly from other sources in larger quantities, because they are disposable, because after a while you lose them or they don't smell so good.